Good evening, one and all. Myself, Rachna P. Nair, Faculty, Department of Management Studies. Respected our Principal, Dr. Chaco Jose, Director, Self-Financing Program, Dr. T.K. Pius, our resource person, Dr. Novi Paul, Ms. Philo Binu, Coordinator, Department of Management Studies, my dear colleagues and my dear friends. Welcome to 3-day international webinar on Faculty Development Program on academic writing for publication, journal publication, organized by the Department of Management Studies, St. Aloysius College, Thrissur. We'll start the program with a silent prayer. Now I request Ms. Philo Binu, Coordinator, Department of Management Studies, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good evening, all. It gives me immense pleasure to start this auspicious occasion by heartily welcoming everyone present here. On behalf of Department of Management Studies, St. Aloysius College, I proudly welcome you all to this 3-day International Faculty Development Program on Academic Writing. Firstly, I would like to welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Chaco Jose, a man with great vision and mission, who has always extended his support to us. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I warmly and respectfully welcome Dr. T.K. Pius, Director of Self-Financing Courses, the pillar behind the event. Welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome our honorable resource person, Dr. Novi Paul. He is working as a senior lecturer in the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Kenya. Welcome you, sir. Hope you're doing good.
Thank you.
I also take this opportunity to welcome all my colleagues and all the participants, and I wish this event to be fruitful and thought-provoking for all of us. Thank you all. Stay home, stay safe.
Thank you, Philo ma'am. Now I request our principal, Dr. Chaco Jose, for the inaugural address.
Thank you. Dr. T.K. Pius, Director, Self-Financing Program, St. Aloysius College. The resource person of this day, Dr. Novi Paul, Senior Lecturer, the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, Nairobi, Kenya. Ms. Philo Binu, Coordinator, Department of Management Studies. Other faculty members of the Department of Management Studies, and all the participants of this international webinar. I'm extremely happy that the Department of Management Studies of St. Aloysius College is organizing a program titled Publication and Writing, Academic Publication and Writing. Academic writing is all the more important now because of the impetus given to it by various academic bodies. Earlier, academic writing was confined to only researchers at the university level, but now it has become essential for teachers in colleges and universities to come out with good academic publications. That's very important, good academic publications. Because many people are not aware of the techniques involved in writing a good paper and also getting it published in a good journal, many are publishing in journals that are often called as cloned journals or predatory journals. So a conference like this is very valuable to the academic community, because they can, I hope this various sessions over the 3 days will give an insight into the program, that they will understand what are the tools of writing a good research paper. I also hope the 3-day deliberations will help them understand the various tools like reference management tools, identifying a good journal, how to go to the source of sources like Scopus or Web of Science to identify the authenticity of the journal, and also how to do a plagiarism check and so on. So I wish all the very best to all the participants, and I hope you will benefit immensely from this 3-day deliberations, and will be able to come out with at least one good publication after attending this program. A very resource person for this day, Dr. Novi Paul, who is with the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, and he's in the Department of Social Work, and he's today talking on review of literature. As you know, review of literature is the beginning of any good research work. It helps you to understand what are the various works that has already been done in the area that you are exploring, and it also helps you to understand the gaps in the present research that is happening. So it's a very key area in the beginning of any research work. So I hope today's lecture will give more insight into fruitful review of literature. I congratulate the coordinator of the Department of Management Studies, Ms. Philo Binu, other faculty members of the Department of Management Studies for taking up such a relevant issue and organizing this international event, which is not at all easy for a self-financing department to organize. So the pain they have taken in organizing this event is acknowledged from the part of the college, and the college is thankful to the department for organizing such an event. So I would like to declare this 3-day international event on academic writing inaugurated. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspirational words. Thank you very much. Now I request our PISA, Director Self-Financing Program, for the felicitation.
Respected Dr. Chakujos, Principal of the College, Dr. Norvi Paul, the resource person of the day, Ms. Philo Binu, Program Coordinator for Management Studies, Mr. Cletus Johnson, Program Coordinator of the Department of Human Resource Management, faculties of the department, and dear participants. In a webinar of this sort, the key question that should keep you engaged is, what could be the structure of a well-conceived scholarly paper, and how one can attempt to write a paper? You see, one of the most important parts of professionalization is being able to publish your research. Much of what I have learned about publishing comes from submitting papers to journals, incorporating reviewer comments, workshopping papers, and having conversation with colleagues and mentors. Recent years have seen a number of interesting empirical studies investigating the difficulties that authors face in their writing process, for academic publishing as well as strategies they use to get their papers published in refereed journals. These studies span a wide range of disciplines and concern graduate students, novice academics, as well as seasoned researchers. Where shall we go from here? What are the implications of existing results? And what are the future directions for research in this area? This webinar aims to provide a platform for researchers and authors to communicate their perspectives on these issues pertaining to the subject of scholarly publishing. Some of the topics I think that could be of concern in this webinar could be traditional and alternative methodologies adopted in the study of writing for academic publications, innovative theoretical frameworks for writing for academic publication research, empirical validations of existing theories in writing, critical reviews of existing literature that unifies knowledge, deepens understanding, or sheds new light on prior knowledge. And even there could be case studies from underexplored national and cultural contexts. This webinar would be of immense use to doctoral students. For doctoral students, publishing in peer-reviewed journals is a task many face with anxiety and trepidation. The world of publishing, from choosing a journal, negotiating with editors, and navigating reviewers' responses, is a bewildering place. Looking in from the outside, it seems that successful and productive academic writers have knowledge that is inaccessible to novice scholars. While there is a growing literature on writing for scholarly publication, many of these publications promote writing and publishing as a straightforward activity that anyone can achieve if they follow the rules. I believe that the specific and situated context in which academic writers negotiate publishing practices is more complicated and messy. This webinar would attempt to make explicit the publishing processes to highlight the complex nature of publishing. I congratulate the program coordinators and the vibrant faculties of the departments for arranging such a useful webinar. And I wish all the participants the best of learning time in the coming days ahead. Thank you for the patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Paisa, for sharing your valuable knowledge regarding this topic. Now, the most awaited moment, I now request our resource person, Dr. Novi Paul, to handle the technical session.
Hello, excuse me. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible. Yes, sir.
From my end, you have disabled the screen sharing provision. Can you enable screen sharing provision? Hello. Hello.
You may have to make Dr. Novi a co-host.
Just enable, sir. Yeah.
Are you enabled? Hello?
Yes, sir, the screen sharing is enabled. Sir, the screen sharing is enabled.
Yeah, I'm trying to access it. Okay. You want me to maybe privacy. I'm trying to. It's not possible to do that. I'm getting some kind of Zoom is not providing provision for that.
Sir, let me
Yeah.
try.
Yeah.
Sir, can you try now? We have enabled.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Okay. It comes for me the basic or something share. Sorry for the delay. I'm trying to do one thing. Raghunath, can you upload the PPT that I'm going to send to you now from your end? Hello, excuse me. Hello.
Sir,
Hey, I have sent my PPT to you now, just now to the Raghunath's email. Just look into it.
yeah.
Just download and
Yes,
upload.
sir. Is okay, sir.
Okay. Is it available now?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is fine. Okay. Okay, fine. I'm so sorry for getting delayed. Sorry for no, kindly bear with me for the delay. Can I move ahead? Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start. You can start.
Okay, fine. Say, thank you for inviting me to this international webinar that you have looked into it. I'm supposed to speak about academic research and review of literature in social sciences. I was just thinking of it, how we will go ahead with it. I thought we will start with what Creswell, one of the authority in research. Creswell, in 2005, he has written his book Educational Research. On that, he has written like this: 5 stages that you need to, 5 steps that you need to look into it. First one, I identify key terms and exact things and locate the literature, critically evaluate it, organize literature, concept mapping format. These 5 steps are the thing that a student, when I say about a student, it's an academic endeavor that we are supposed to look into it. Now, when we look into it, 5 questions that we need to ask. So we all are researchers. We all are researchers who are trying to understand what is the existing knowledge, where we are here, where we are standing, and what should be the way forward. When we are thinking about it, we need to look into it. We need to look into it. Why? Hello. The first question that we need to ask is,
Dear participant, somebody has unmuted. Please mute your audio.
5 basic questions that we need to be answered when we go for any kind of literature review, for any kind of work. If you are doing any kind of scientific research, we need to know what is the existing knowledge that I said it. So the 5 basic questions that to understand what is the basic understanding, what is the existing knowledge, we need to know why I need to conduct a literature review. And next question is, where do find the research literature? Why I need to have importance, why I need to give importance to the citation. This is one of the area the students are struggling, especially those who are doing the their doctoral programs, or when we write the articles, we find difficulty. Why I need to have the citations, and how to conduct a systematic review, how to arrange a suitable documentation of this literature review. When we are looking at this, I just when I try to answer these questions, I was just thinking of what is literature review. First, we have to understand. Let's start from the scratches. What is literature review? We all know when literature review, we presume that it's a bulk of research things that is coming published by others. That's right. But where from it comes in? It's a summary that comes from the journals, books, and other documents. On what? What it is providing to us past and current state of information. This is what more important. Past and current state of information, organize them and document them. Now the problem comes in, we are able to, when we search it or when we surf it, we get lot of information. We are not able to identify why it is to be done, how it is to be done, what should be my focus on that. We are not able to look into it. So in that case, what we need to is, when I go for a reading something, I should be able to classify them. When I classify, the important question comes in. Am I able to evaluate what the researchers have written on a particular topic or particular subject? This is what we are failed. Most of the researchers, what they do, they read it and just write it. They are unable to comprehend what people have done. That's why I say literature review for everybody is just right. Most of them are looking into abstract. This is what most of the researchers, because I am being a research guide and being a part of some of the journals, international journals editorial board, I find most of the literature review comes from the research articles. Is just an abstract taken from the journal. It is not comprehended. And we don't try to look into how systematically it's written, how critically how critical to look into the topic. We have not looked into it. And when we look into this systematic way, critically, and also whether it is published or not published does not matter. Whether it is creative and comprehensive and systematic, and also it's provide information or relevant information to us. That's more important. That's why when I looked into the dictionary, it was just written like this: interpretation and synthesis of published work. Literature review is just simple as that. Literature review is something like that, looking into others' work, how do I perceive and how do I synthesize myself? Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis has to happen in any literature review. Most often, the students are not able to make this synthesis in the literature. And also, we try to copy it, we try to adapt it, but we are unable to interpret it. Interpretation comes from where? How this knowledge is adapted into my research area, my topic of research, and then how I perceive this in my particular culture, particular area of research, and particular knowledge bank. How much I am looking into it, just look into it. So when we look this perspective from the definition, when we look into it, how do I look into the proposal of the research? Literature which should help us for something else. Most often, this is what I will say, most often the students or the researchers, from my experience, including me, are not able to understand the concepts. Every literature, as we go in deep and deep, should help us to understand the conceptual issues. That's why we say, what is your conceptual understanding of the research topic? How do we conceptually make our research? This will help, this will be driven only from the literature. Literature, what is the literature? That comes from where? Existing knowledge. And also will help us to learn about research design and research that undertaken. Most often, let me say this word always, most often, we have a tendency to understand what is the finding and what was the finding of this study, and just make it copy and paste in our study. And we fail sometimes to understand the design. Every research findings will have a relevance only when it is read on the background of research design. The qualitative and quantitative, what kind of research design is followed, how these research findings are applicable to my study is coming only when I have understood the research design followed by the researcher. And also it will help us to examine that whether the research that I followed is relevant to me or not. For example, let me take it in my own personal experience. When I was trying to do my PhD, I did almost 3 months work and almost have my proposal ready. I forgo, then I submitted the same proposal to my research proposal to my guide. When we had the discussion, the supervisor has identified same nature of study has taken place in different place there in India. Almost similar findings, similar research designs. And my supervisor said, this does not make much difference if we go ahead with the research, this research topic, because almost similar is done, though a bit of geography is changed. That means that compelled me to go ahead and to find out further, and even forced me change the whole research topic, come into new topic, new designs, which is not followed earlier by earlier researchers. So every researcher should examine whether this is relevant, because this will be helped only when we look into the research findings and research designs and research problems. And the question comes in, every research, we have a public defense of the proposals over here. We don't have in India, but we have proposal, even including masters and PhD students, they have to defend their proposal. When they defend their proposal, important question we ask them, how do you make sure that you have a new insight contributing to the subject area or the discipline that we are following? It means, what is going to be my specific contribution is known only when do the literature review, and it will help. Otherwise, what happened, as in my case it has happened, we will be going for reinventing the wheel again. Literature review will help us not to go for reinventing the wheel, but rather what best the wheel can be soothed, what best I can do to soothe the wheel that I go ahead with, that I use it. When I should do the literature review, some of the students, especially when some of us doing the PhD, or when we go to the literature, when you do the articles, we feel, no, I have read enough article, I did my literature review. Now it is my turn to write it. I feel, as an academician, from out of my experience, doing literature review at the preliminary stage is okay. But when we go for the data collection, especially for the empirical study, we need again go for we have to revisit the literature review that we have done, looking into whether it is updated or not. And also when we write our research findings, also we need to the final stage also, because when we do our research findings, articulate our research topic, research discussion part, what happens at interim period of our research drafting, the thesis drafting, there may be new publication must have come, may come out having the same topic of our own. So challenge will be, question will be coming, the reader, the examiner, the reviewer of the article will be asking us the same question. The same nature, the article of same nature, the thesis of same nature is already published. How this makes any contribution apart from that? To address that issue, we need to read the literature in between, and also in between, before we start our studies of empirical way, and we then during the empirical data collection, and also when we draft it. This is a failure from most of our students, most of us, including the faculty members. This happens because how many are we? Let me take the example. When we ask this scholars, I am taking examples from my own experience. When I have the research students with me, under me, I ask how many journals you have referred, 25, 30 for the proposal. Then I ask, during your data collection period, how many articles you have referred? They say mostly 0. Then again I ask, how many journals you have referred when you wrote your conclusions or discussion part? Mostly is again comes 0. So what is required is go for a literature review, make a habit that literature review in 3 sections. So then let me take this, because being looking into the literature review, let me also refer to Creswell, one of the authority on the literature review, what should do. Creswell, as I said, he has given 5 steps. The first step is that you have to identify how we go ahead with it. We have to identify the key terms. Now, just today I had a discussion of master's student research. The student was doing a lot of research. It was written like this: empowerment of physically disabled people and performance of small and medium enterprises. Now, it is quite general term. Empowerment. What kind of empowerment? Is it physically disabled? What kind of physical disability? What kind of performance? All this comes in. To understand that, we should start with the specific key terms that we are interested in. So extract the keywords of any research that we are coming into. Start with the general terms, then redefine your topic that is needed. Then we ask the same student, go for social empowerment. Then you go for physical. When we look into physical, go for deaf and dumb or physical movement ways. Or then we have said, avoid the performance because it comes in different variable. So be specific. When we go for the general, go for the specificity, then try to understand further the landmark or classic studies or theories who have spoken on that. So if you are able to look into it, that is easy. The second one is locate literature. Second step, Creswell is saying we should go for primary and secondary sources. Primary source is that the research article that we have looked into it, reported by the researcher that conducted by the study. Whereas secondary resources is summarizing what the report findings. So that we have to look into that one. And now the third step is where we all will be sticking. First thing, I have put a specific term like this. Rely on, when we go, the third step is critically evaluate selected literature. Meanwhile, let me say it, there are lot of softwares available to get you where the references and Mendeley, Zoroto, all these things. Fine. Let me say it, as a beginner, we have to depend upon our own manual work to understand the research topic. Traditional way of looking at the literature is also important. That has to be understood first. So, the third step is critically evaluate selected literature. First thing is rely on research journals, articles published national journals. Why I say this national journals? Because these journals will give more relevant data of our research area. Then we can go for international journals. Then prioritize your search area. First thing, then you have to look for referred journals. Then we have to go for non-referred journals. Then go for the books, conferences and everything. And now, the problem comes in over there. Mostly, when we go for the literature review, we often forget to look into qualitative and quantitative research. Since I am doing quantitative research, I don't look into the qualitative research that is happened. What I'll suggest is that the qualitative research can contribute our study. Therefore, blend qualitative and quantitative. This can clarify our concepts. That has to be understood. Then, when we look into the literature review, there are two parts for the literature review. One is theory part, second one is empirical. When we go for empirical, see, I am looking into the different patterns that is suggested by experts. Theoretical part, we know that what is theoretical part, how the theory is contributing to my study. That fixes it. I will talk it all later. Now, there are different patterns that different scholars follow. First pattern is that just put, that's elementary pattern and least preferred pattern. Researchers presents the findings of a study as against the name of the author in one paragraph. The second paragraph will be the second research findings. Here the researchers do not link it with one study to the other. This is not preferred, and most of our students, at least on master's level, they do that. From my experience in Indian perspective. Now, the second pattern is reviewer refers to a particular set of findings and provides a few references of those who contributed to the particular findings in bracket. In this case, basically we cluster different findings together. But we don't, in this pattern, people do not compare the two sets of findings. As somebody has said this, somebody has said this. We don't compare that. We just put the findings together of the same nature. And the third pattern is reviewer describes a phenomenon investigated by the researcher, but we don't look into the sequence but geographical area, we are not looking into it, but rather we try to investigate the phenomena and insert the supporting research authors. This is also followed by us sometimes, but this is pattern also not that greatly preferred, at least on masters, doctoral, and in journal, in standard referred journals. The fourth pattern is researchers develop a conceptual framework based on the literature and creative logic. Here comes the role of the real literature review. Develop a conceptual framework about our topic. Because the conceptual framework involves different variables that are talking into it, where the dependent variable, independent variable, intervening variable, all this comes over there. This literature review will help us to look into the conceptual framework, and also when we are thinking this critically to this literature, we will be able to have a creative logic, a sequence to this. Within this framework, this conceptual framework in this literature review, the researcher maps out the previous researches and fit it into the conceptual framework. Because my topic area I have defined. As I went through the literature of different authors, I found somebody has contributed this, somebody has contributed this. Now, two different contributions, how it comes in. I try to make a connection between both, and then also try to make a link of comparison, contrasting, and also analysis, and then go for a discussion. This will help us to understand the real findings, and also identify the gaps, whether some studies have done on overlap also. And also it will also help us to understand real methodological issues faced by the authors. and methodological issues that we identified in some studies, which we should not repeat it. And when we do this, I will also suggest, this is what our universities say, that no, when we comprehensively put these variables in the conceptual framework, try to look into a perspective that go for international studies, go for regional studies, go for national studies and local studies. Not for the geographical area has to be focused on, but rather to bring a comprehensive idea. This will help us to understand refer studies into our research. This will also help us to understand the research gap. Is there any difference between summary and research gap identification? We have to understand. Every literature review will have two parts. There will be a summary of what we have done. And research gap is something that you identify, we as a researcher identify these are the things they have done and this the thing that you have that is not research, therefore my study makes relevant. Research gap is that part makes us to understand or derive at the research question. Research gap identification will help us to make sure that our research question is relevant. So research gap identification is most important. How do we do that? This is also important. When a researcher does this, he has to write what is the major contribution of each author and each author next consecutively, which variables are discussed, in which background they have done, maybe within a paragraph or two paragraphs, and finally state that this part is not studied by anybody and therefore asking this question is more relevant to identify for this research. This is what more important. The research gap, the literature will help us to identify therefore our research problem, our research objectives and arrive at research questions. That is very much related to the research gap. This will also help us to identify variable mapping or a conceptual framing, and also help us to analytical framework. That is, when I speak about it, let me say it, there is something called conceptual mapping and analytical mapping. Conceptual mapping is speaking about how the variables are flowing. Analytical framework is speaking about how my literature review is followed over there. It is presenting in the diagram. And also literature review will help us to make a discussion framework. Discussion framework, how is it? I will show it later. Discussion framework is
pointing to a building. Pointing the building.
Okay. This one? Hello? Somebody speaking something?
Yes, sir. Sir, you can continue, sir.
Okay. I will show you how the discussion framework happens. So discussion framework happens is that how other studies are happened, how my variables are flowed, how my studies happened, how other studies are happened, how my research finding is contributing. That discussion framework will help us to understand whether my study contributes something, whether my study makes some kind of advancement in relation to the theory that I have depended upon, whether my study concur the theories that I have depended upon, whether there is a disproof or disagreement or discord, or there is some kind of adaptation happen because of my particular geography, my culture and knowledge. And therefore, it will help us to literature review further. It will help us to make in-depth, systematic and critical interpretation and synthesis of published work. This will also help us to bring us research design, because we are referring to research designs of previous authors. And also worth of our current study and knowledge. Help us to identify the pattern and trend of research that is happened. What is a leak? That will help us to understand. Now, let me say, when I am trying to this is what I say. This is traditional conceptual framework. What is a traditional conceptual framework? What is the independent variable? If it is possible, you can see that. What is the cursor is moving? The independent variable is here and dependent variable is there, and here the intervening variable. How the independent variable is affecting the dependent variable, and now intervening variables are here, which is beyond of our control. This is what traditionally we do. We ask the students, what is your independent variable? What is a dependent variable? We never ask the students how this each independent variable affecting or influencing the dependent variable, dependent variable within the dependent variable. For example, here the livelihood is there. So livelihood or well-being is there. Or this is so when it is, these variables are how improved quality of life is affected by gold mining. And how gold mining is affecting the better income. We are not speaking, but rather just put it in a framework. This is what we do. Now, this is also the same way, same thing. Independent variable, dependent variable, you say intervening variable over here. This is what the conceptual framework we sometimes follow. Here the advancement has happened that you have this major topic over here, research, which is affected by the intervening variable. This intervening variable is also affecting this. Therefore, this affects this variable, and this affects this independent variable, and this leads to these two variables. This is what the movement is happened in the thinking patterns. Now, this is another area. This is about this is a PhD thesis framework that came in the conceptual. This research was speaking about what is a restructured image of Dalit women and girls after particular things happen. So these three variables, this is another advancement. These three variables are the major variables, independent variables that are affecting this, which is influenced by this variable, and this variable. So a movement, a progress is happening over there. Here, this is just for an example I have put it. When we are speaking about globalization, the people are speaking about education influence the globalization, and then it affects the reconstructed image. So which author is speaking about it? Paul. This brings a conceptual clarity. Okay. Now, this is another way. This is another advancement happens. This is done by me. So see, this development-induced displacement and is affecting social disarticulation. This is the real study has to happen. So which was focusing on my interest area was like this. There are certain things influencing this displacement, and it leads to something called social capital loss. It disturbs social capital loss, and it causes something. This causes impoverishment risk. This causes social disarticulation, and when this happens, it also affected by poor this reconstruction, poor participation, all these things. This leads to also disarticulation, and disarticulation leads to this. This is what this social exclusion, new poverty, all these things happens. My interest was whether displacement was leading to social disarticulation. In between, so many variables are happening. Mostly, our researchers are not able to identify which variable influence which variable, which needs to be addressed properly. For our research purpose, we are not doing it because we think it's complicated. Really, it is not complicating. It is rather making us easy. Looking at this diagram, I will be able to say that my whole literature review having 100 pages is diagrammatically presented over here within one slide. This is called framework for literature review. So what happened? This again, I was speaking about Dalit women's, this one. So this becomes the second discussion part over here. This discussion part, again, the next slide will help us to understand more. See, this was the findings of this study. See, restructured women concept over there. This is influenced this. It has caused cultural invasion. This media, these three things are influencing one thing, which is also influencing this one, which leads to this. This is discussion part. This is called a discussion frame. This one I will say later. See, again I was saying this is another example how the literature review happens. Here marginalization, it happens community and individual. When it comes in, this is happening, this variable, this is influencing. These are influencing each other. And this influenced by this. Again they are intertwined. They are linked to each other. So this kind of framework make it easy. This is called a discussion framework. Let me explain this. This is more important. Our discussion, our study finding should be able to present in a diagram. For me, this was the problem for me, research problem, and this leads to development, displacement, leads to marginalization, was my research problem, which was influenced by each variable, which is again I identified as economic marginalization. Who were others speaking about it? This was there. These were the others I have found in the literature review, which is connected in the discussion. And these others helps this. These variables I have identified are also made comment by revealed by this others. And for me, these four variables leads to marginalization. My finding is, instead of saying my discussion, instead of saying just saying that displacement leads to marginalization, I said how the variables are here included in this, which is giving us some kind of specific terminology. This specific terminology, that's called the variables. These variables leads to this. So all these things leads to one dimension. If you are able to identify this, nothing will invalidate, but rather validate our study. So this kind of framework has to be looked into it. Now, this framework, this previous framework will help us to understand what is the research finding. Why we need to have the research finding? It is to address a problem, to identify the problem. Every research should lead us to research suggestions. That is one of the reasons that we are doing the research with a specific problem. So our suggestion will help us, should also be a framework. So it should also make some kind of framework. So here, this is also another framework we have to develop. It means if we simply say, you you have conceptual framework, if you have literature framework, if you have discussion framework, if you have suggestion framework, our whole research is capsule. Our literature review should help us for these 4 framework. One, the conceptual framework, we derive the variables through the literature review. The literature review, identification of the important variables in the important studies, that framework is developed, that will help us to have the research objectives and research gap. Then discussion framework will help us to understand what the theories are spoken about it, what the research are spoken about it, how it is applied, how it is relevant to my study. And then way forwardness framework will also depending upon our research findings and the previous studies. Now, there is another, I was speaking about the second part of the literature review. I did not mention about the first part of the literature review. Most often, we as researchers try to understand, try to dedicate one part of literature review to theoretical framework, theories that will explain our studies. And when the discussion happens, when the findings are written, analysis and interpretation is written, and discussion happens, we forget always what is the implication of that theory in my studies. Therefore, theoretical part is important in literature review. These theories that I depend upon can concur my studies in my research findings. The theories I depend for my studies can refute or defend or disprove or say that this theory that I have studied is not applicable in my culture. It needs a bit of adaptation. For example, in my study, I have said, certain authors said there is a cultural change when the people are displaced. That was the theory. I said, in my thesis, I said it is not cultural change with regard to the people of Kerala, but it is a cultural adaptation happens. That is called adaptation of the theories. So this perspective you have to put it. The theories, what is the role of the theories? Theories can help us to validate our studies. Therefore, choose our theories very systematically and try to look into relevant ones. Then try to explain the research result within the framework. Theories will help us for that. And this will also facilitate to inform the knowledge. As I said, advancement or enhancement. And develop a proposed new models and approaches to undertake such studies in particular discipline. Now, when I look into it, mostly we as researchers do research in our discipline. If it is management, social work, sociology, anthropology, political science, we often incorporate that study or theory into our study. We fail to explain the theory's relevance to our study, our discipline. It is an implication for us or important for us that when we adapt a theory in our literature review, we are supposed to explain how this theory is important or implant in our study, in our research area, and also in particular to our research discipline. This is also important. So theories are important. This will help us to validate and also help us to contribute something new knowledge in our discipline. And how other studies have adapted the discipline also will help us to understand this. And then, now from this, I just make a quick move to how I should look into studies, literature review. I said all these things. What should be the way I should look into it? First one, when we look into any article, when we are looking into it, we have to have an appreciation of strength, weakness, and limitation of any study that we are looking into it. If you ask me as a reviewer of articles or examiner of research, I just look into how critically the researcher is looking into it, how creative it is, how original is the work, how logical sequence is followed, how the citation is. How these things are important for any kind of research. That is why I said every literature review, when we look at any articles or any studies, we have to look into it. Identify the research aim. What was the research aim or research question? What is the nature of the study? What is ontological positions and epistemological positions or philosophy of the study, philosophical worldview? What kind of methodological assumption this study has taken? And how much the researcher's value position and explicit? How the researcher has positioned the study over there? We had also examine what kind of theory used. Is it a deductive approach or inductive approach? We have to also analyze method, how best it is analyzed, how clearly it is explained, what was the conclusion, whether the conclusion is based on the evidence, what is the implications of the study to the policy and practice that we do. From there, I conclude that third stage, and now the fourth stage comes in. How to do it? Organize your literature review in a system, APA format and everything. Try to look into the key statistics, not emphasize the strength and weakness as I said. Then we have to summarize a literature review in table format or concept format, because it is possible in the Excel format. If you look into it, Excel format, you can, author says years of the author, which area, what discipline, and major findings, what is the contribution. If you are able to look into it, it will help us to understand the draw the concept mapping, whether it is possible or not. And let me say, what is the structure of our literature review? There is no ideal structure for a literature review, but rather it is good if you follow chronologically, but have a thematical view or by development of ideas. Make sure that we explain your structure. Make sure that we explain our structure, the table of contents that should help us to understand how the literature is flowing. That is why the structure will be easily explained when we have this literature framework. And when we write it, a literature review, remember that. Consider the purpose of before we begin to write. How we when we look into what is my purpose, we have to reassemble them. We have to outline them, trace them, our argument. Recognize your notes according to the path of your argument. This is said by Galvin. So how is it possible for us? And when we look into it, we should also look into what is within each topic, each heading, note the differences among the studies. It is a practical way I am looking into it. When we speak about one study and when we compare the other one, we should be able to make sure that what is the differences about these studies. Within each topic, there will be differences. What the gaps that is identified. What are the relevant theories these people used? How these individual studies are used? How we summarizing this? I am able to summarize this literature review and present the conclusions and implications are given. What is the future research? What is the future research relevance and all these things we can discuss it later, because that makes the further area of research for others. So from this, let me conclude like this. I just want to conclude like this. Literature review is very much important for any research for single reason. It helps us to identify the research gap, identify the research problem, and identify our objectives, identify our method, and finally make our contribution, making our contribution whether it is relevant or not. These are some of the references that you can look into it, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a fruitful session. Now it's the time for an interaction. Dear participants, if you have any doubts, you can come forward. You can also use the chat box.
If you have any doubt, no, you can come to me either using my mail or yeah, there is my email if you want. My email. This is my email. My WhatsApp is okay. 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 I have few things that has come into the chat box like this. That is it that needed that we need to have looking into the, should I look into the whole study or should I look into the only abstract of the study? What I will suggest is that looking at the abstract of the study, we should be able to understand what kind of philosophy is the background it is used in the abstract, it is said in the abstract. What is the research objectives, it is said in the abstract. What is the methodology followed? What is the research findings? We should look into abstract first. Then if we feel that this is fit in, we should select it. And we have to go through it. May not be all the research analysis part may not be that relevant, but it is so relevant when it comes to the discussion part. The structure of the analysis also is important. That is one question. And another question came in is like this. Difference between scope of literature review and systematic literature review. Scope of literature review is speaking about the whole widened area that you are looking into it. It means that helps you to understand the whole area of the gamut of knowledge concerning your topic. But when we do the systematic literature review, we become more specific, more focused to the topic that I am doing. And also it makes more sense for the argument that I am putting forward. Literature review can be done as if we wish. As I said, the first pattern, the second pattern, that is also literature review. Where it comes in, the systematic literature review is speaking about sequence, the logical thinking, the critical arguments, the creative thinking, how it is related to the theories also comes in over there. Yeah. Noting down the findings from the literature, such is using tool Excel sheet. So is there a systematic method of noting down the finding from a literature, such as using tools like Excel? It's depending upon each one, how do we arrive at how do we use the Excel sheet? That only I can say. I don't think any, while reading the various articles, I have seen many authors present the ROL. ROL, it is necessary to put the content under. Somebody was saying that what is the, best research book. Let me say it. You start from reading Creswell from the PhD. If you are a PhD student, start from the Creswell. Then Allen. A lot of books are there. I think there is not much this one. Yeah. Anybody having a doubt, they can direct to my mail. Again, I have written already, but still they can direct anything to my mail ID, and they can even call to my message to me to my WhatsApp. I don't find organizers. I don't find any much questions. If you have.
Okay, sir. Thanks a
No.
lot once again. Now I invite Mr. Raghunadar, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, for the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all who participated in this program and made it successful. We expect the same participation and cooperation for the coming 2-day sessions as well. First of all, I would like to thank Almighty God for making today's program a great success. On behalf of the Department of Management Studies, St. Alicia's College, I would like to extend my heartiest thanks to our Honorable Resource Person, Dr. Norvi Paul, Senior Lecturer from the Catholic University of Eastern Africa, for his presence in the program. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your inspiring and motivating research experiences. You are an exemplary person, and we have a lot to learn from you. Wholeheartedly, I must thank our principal, Dr. Chaco Jose, St. Alicia's College, for his support and guidance in organizing such an event. Thank you, Father. Thank you, sir. Then, a special thanks to our Director of Self-Financing Program, Dr. T.K. Pius, for assisting and encouraging all of us to conduct such a program. Thank you, sir. We have been fortunate enough to get the support of our department coordinator, Mrs. Filobino, to organize this program, even amidst the pandemic. So I extend our gratitude to her. I must thank the organizing team, that is all the staff members of the Department of Management Studies, St. Alicia's College, who work hard to make this program valuable for all of us. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu sir. The feedback form is shared in the chat box. Now, once again, thanks a lot, sir, for your valuable session. Now, today we are winding up our session, and tomorrow we'll meet at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I move? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.